Um, I'm really bewildered almost, and they sort of like scouts, coaches, they don't really appreciate hockey IQ.
Exactly.
And I wonder, like right now, it's sort of like you, you notice a player that go coast to coast or has the puck all the time and can dingle and dangle and score goals, and he gets drafted, and there's no team play.
Hmm.
Um, how can you talk about that?
Oh,
Uh,
well, you're right, Wally. I'm watching some. I'm at that Rocky Mountain Classic right now, watching some games, and some kids, they're going to be first rounder picked. They got the puck all the time. They go coast to coast and stuff like that. And I remember when I was selecting players to make teams or Hockey Alberta stuff, those guys usually, obviously, would be my top five, but I would never put them on top, number one, even though they were the best players. To me, it always goes to hockey sense. Carry the puck, the guy is open, the best plays are there. The problem with the guys are going coast to coast all the time. First of all, smart team, smart coaches will figure it out. And I saw a couple of examples at the tournament. They start tag teaming on the kids, like two guys, double teaming. And the guy gets tired because he plays a lot, he plays alone, and he might get injured. And what I found, those guys are easier to stop in the playoffs, and they got shut down totally. And they want to play the same way by themselves. So I do a game analysis, and I watched a lot of hockey from the different junior team and college team and U18 to U15. And one thing I try to teach the kids when I critique their games or try to improve their games, it's all about hockey sense. Um, it's, people say, okay, you can't teach hockey sense, but when you play a certain way when you're bantam or U15, and you move up, and the coaches, we got some good young coaches, volunteers. It's tough to find volunteer coaches to coach, and then they want to work on systems and uh, try to win games and manage the bench, but the kids, they come up with the same bad habits or no habits, or how to make the right zone entries, and try to explain to them, okay, you go middle drive. Okay, that's good. You go middle drive. That's what the coach is saying. But there's a way to do the middle drive. You try to create the two-on-ones in the middle drive, or closer, use the dots to support the puck carrier. And then I try to explain. I show them what happened if you don't do that. You might get the puck in the middle, but the defenseman, the weak side defenseman, is right on you. So that's why I try to teach the nuances of the game. And even I want to do that. I might be doing that with some kind of as a mentor with coaches, like look at their games, their power play, things like that, and try to critique them a little bit. Because I see a lot of things. Like nowadays you can find, you go to coach's site or you go to YouTube, you can find power play breakouts, all that stuff. But you got to understand the nuances. And then when I see some of the games, I could see what the coach is trying to do, but the execution is not there at all, just because they weren't thought the nuances of the power play breakout or forecheck or stuff like that. So hockey sense is, you, people say you can't teach, but you can help the kids understand and show them the different nuances of the game.
Tom, I'm going to ask you because Tom, he understood this 40 years ago because he worked with Finnish
Means
and
I'm
Russian
old.
coaches, and we were playing north south bang Finnish to Czech hockey. Um, and Tom, over the many years, can you speak to this idea of developing smarter players and players with a hockey IQ?
Well, like Claude says, it's really hard to do. you get the players, like one of the worst habits they got is the 1-on-5 players. They get the puck, maybe they get it at the top of the circles, and then they go backwards for a while and then come out to give themselves space. But now instead of having a 2-on-2, it's a 2-on-4 or whatever, because they went backwards, and they don't move it. So meeting Johanni in Finland there, he showed me about having rules about passing. Like you have to make at least one pass in each zone, and that causes things to happen. Like it causes now I blow the duck call if they don't do it, and if nobody in support, you can't pass the puck, right? Yeah, I mean you're there and you're on an island, so now people have to support. You have to look around. We play things like a 3-second game and a 2-second game, and all sorts of things like that to encourage the teammates to support and them to look. But it's hard to break people of the habits. I have a few right now on my team, and they're great stick handlers, but that, like Claude says, the other team just starts double teaming them. Or the worst thing is you head out towards the blue line and you're out there by yourself on your backhand, and you're really stranded because they want to create space for themselves. So yeah, I think playing games and creating situations, is like the last game I saw the Wranglers doing this. Is 3-4s put the puck from about the hash, put it behind the net, and two players go and get it and go north, east to west with it, and the other player mirrors and they pass out there, and that idea of working the puck behind the net. But it is a real challenge to create some hockey sense. I think
Yeah,
good habits are the key.
yeah, like you mentioned there, Tom, is doing games and the small area games. It's the best way to do it. If you don't have the opportunity to show a lot of videos to the kids, like I help some coaches sometimes, and I go watch their power play practice. And the young coaches, they played hockey, they played some junior A, whatever, but I'm watching the practice, and first of all, the properly practice is shoot the puck down, break out, set up, and that's all for the full hour. And kids cannot make passes. They can't bump. And then assistant coaches jump in and they get the puck all the time. So that's a waste of time. And then when I do my practices, I start as warm up, like different, well, a shooting drink, for example, kind of mirrors a breakout, but it's a shooting drills, and I had a few things in there. And then I got a couple of stations like for tipping, screening, one timer, coming, give and goes, and things like that. All those the skill sets needed to execute the power play, and then I might just for 2, 3 times have the power play going, full breakout and stuff like that. But I finish with games all the time related. Like what he always used to say all the time like, at the Hockey Alberta High Performance when I did it, I don't know, ages ago. He said at the end in mind. Yeah, you have to set your practice with the end in mind, and even the games you play at the end got to relate to the rest of the practice. And I got some good small zone games like 4-on-2 with transition, and you could switch that to put a bumper in the middle, and then that teaches the guys moving the puck, heads up, one touch, and sometimes I add like a bunch of different colored puck, red, orange, black, blue, and they all have when you see, let's say, blue puck, has to be one touches, or orange puck has to be one time shot, or things like that. And so and you always say hockey is like repeat and retain, like so muscle memory, and that's the best way I think for us to teach somehow hockey sense. It becomes natural to them, and when they get in a game and they need to do a one touch pass, they know automatically they're going to do that one touch pass. So That's my thing on smaller area games.
Well, Claude, just wanted to sort of regress a little bit on the idea of hockey sense. We had Sammy Jo Small on, and she's coaching her daughter in U11 hockey years ago.
Hmm.
And the biggest thing of all, she said, is they have the skill, but they don't keep their head up. And there's a point where they can keep their head up and carry the puck and see the ice. And she said scanning and seeing the ice is critical.
Hmm.
At that age, if she was going to focus on one thing, whether it's head up and calling numbers, handling the puck stationary, and the coach putting his fingers up, there's progressive ways of teaching it.
Yes.
But I just want to share one of the ideas that Shayla, who coaches the other U15 team,
Sheila Catrick.
yeah,
Yeah, I coached her with my daughter. Yeah.
she taught me about. I'm not sure what age it was, but she was with the U13s on the ice assisting, and they were scrimmaging, but there were mixed colors. And I don't know how they figured out who was who and which team. But then she said, no, we have colors on their helmets, colored tape.
Mm.
So they keep their eyes up and are looking. So it's those kind of ideas at the right age that might get them over the hump
Yeah.
of starting to get their head up and look and see and think and make decisions. But there are so many successful coaches that aren't of the mold of the three of us. We appreciate passing. We appreciate letting the puck do the work.
Exactly.
But there are some coaches who have more success than we've had just playing a two-way hockey game, 200 foot, outworking the opposition, out battling the opposition, and not finessing to win. And that's the line I think that coaches struggle with. Is they have to find a balance of developing that work ethic, that compete, that battle mentality and hunger. And they also have to develop the vision and the ability to support, anticipate, think, and play together. So